welcome to an awesome and new episode of the High Five Guys with your hosts, Todd and Chris. Thanks so much for being a part of our day, and we hope to make your day just as much fun, in the next 45 minutes or an hour that you're with us here. So, Todd, what's happening? What's good? What's exciting? You look good. You look happy.
No, I like that you made a pact, or we made a pact to keep this like on the lighter side, right, and on the shorter side today. We always go way over, so we're gonna see if we can condense it this time. So that's first thing. Yeah, feeling good. I mean, for the first time in a while, it's not like really hot while we're recording. So I usually have a fan running. I think last time I've been using this more condenser, more sensitive mic, and it picked up a little bit of like the buzzing last time. So we had to like magic edit that out. This time we shouldn't have to deal with that because it's actually a little cooler. I don't need the fan.
And it's crazy with technology too, where it can do that for us. So if you got some sounds,
this platform, I don't think we mentioned it much, but this Riverside platform that we use, just awesome. Does a lot of stuff, makes our lives easy. Like, big fans of it. So yeah,
absolutely. It's been great. And we had such a fun time recording and talking about the Olympics. And we've got another wonderful episode here as well that we are going to talk about TV shows. And there have been a lot of shows that both Todd and I have watched, and I'm sure many of you have watched and actually found entertaining, and some that you've clicked next, right, on the remote control. So we'll discuss some of that, some of our favorite ones, maybe from childhood, maybe some of the ones now that we've binge watched and had a nice few hours of just watching the same show. So hold on to your seatbelts. This is going to be a really good episode. And don't forget, high fives at the end. We've got some good ones for you this week. So with that being said, Mr. Todd, what is the good word? What's new and exciting with you?
Oh man. Okay. Yeah. New and exciting. This is sort of a funny one. So I am in the middle of an all-out war on my own yard over the last few days. No. So here's what happened, right? I'm having the cookout barbecue live music extravaganza thing next weekend. So Stacey and I, we've been doing she came over on the weekend. We did a lot of cleaning over the weekend. We did a lot of spring cleaning that I hadn't done in a couple of years, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
So we were doing that stuff. The place is looking by far the best it's looked in many years. I'm going to try to keep it at this exact level. You can't see it, but it's looking really, really
awesome.
Top notch. Yeah, it feels good. But the outside has been a big thing too. Like I probably neglected I can't say neglected, but neglected comparatively to other years, more so this year. So things were a little overgrown. There was an old tree stump in the backyard that had these ivy vines and whatever that, and other, those little like shrub bushes that grow around that stuff.
A little natural look.
Yeah. But it was way overgrown around this one tree stump. And I went weed whacking. I was weed whacking all around the yard. Big yard, for anyone who doesn't know. And I went face first into a giant hornet nest.
Like you fell into it, or you walked into it?
Well, no. I should say the right. I mean, I weed whacked right into it. I was going around, big overgrown thing that I just wanted to chop down around the tree.
Yeah.
And I had no idea. I never noticed like a particular preponderance of wasps coming out of that area. But I just went right into it, apparently, right into their nest. And before I knew it, they were swarming me.
And oh no.
I was slow to notice it too. I actually, because I was weed whacking, the first like needle hit me. And I thought, because this happens a lot. I mean, I do stuff like this. I was like weed whacking with flip-flops on.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was like I had churned up a rock or something that spit. I wear glasses, but I thought I hit a rock that hit me on the foot. And it was like, it was hurting
like
my foot.
It stung. Yeah.
It was a sting, and you felt it build and like, oh no, this is something else. This can't just be that.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden, then I'm like, okay, maybe it's close by. And I was just slow to look in the right direction. I was looking like the wrong way. And I suddenly turned and I looked and I realized there's 30 of them all around me. I was right next to that tree stump.
Yeah.
I was right next to their nest.
More stings
already come out and stung me. They just started chasing me. And there's a thing that happens with when you get stung, they leave like a pheromone trace on you, and it signals to the rest of the colony that this is the attacker and we need to go annihilate this thing. So they started chasing me. I got stung 5 times.
Wow.
The last one was I had run around the side of my house. I was 30 meters away by the time, the last one stung me.
Yeah.
I got the one sting on my foot, which weirdly is the one still hurts the most, like just outside of my foot. I got twice on the back of my left leg. I think one on the back of my right leg. And then I got one right here.
Like on your neck.
Yeah. Somewhere right around there. That did not feel good. But yeah, that was yesterday. So like, I guess I probably round 1 was probably me. Inadvertently. I didn't know. I came in and, I devastated their shields, their outer force field wall. They destroyed me in round 2.
Sure.
They
attacked,
hammered down on me.
Yeah. Yep.
And then I went back this morning with a big raid can. I actually had to rest last night. I had to take Benadryl and stuff. They put me out of commission.
Yeah.
I went back with a big wasp raid can this morning. Sprayed it down a lot. I still see them swarming around. They were waiting for me too. They were ready. They knew it was wartime. They knew it was coming.
You still had those the pheromones or pheromones. Yeah. I don't know what you said.
They knew something was afoot. They knew like war was coming to town. So they were already swarming. But I was bundled up. I had
nice
a ski mask, all this stuff, and I got in and sprayed them. I still see them swarming around. I'm coming back. I'm thinking to put like a lit log, like I'm going to light a little fire down in the fire pit, bring a log up and put it by the doorstep, and also like flood them again with with
really show them who boss is and like.
And I usually live very much in harmony with nature, but wasps are different to me, and I can't have them around for the cookout too. It's very near my deck, so
they are not bumblebees. They are not nice. I've gotten
bees. I love bees,
and I know like I have gotten so much more at ease with bees, even with our little garden in the back too, which is just interesting because hornets, wasps, not a huge fan, but bees I've gotten better with.
They're demons. They are demons. So all right, sorry.
No, that was.
So how about you? What do you get up to?
That was a fun weekend. Well, no, didn't you have a performance as well?
Oh yeah. That was it was great. It was awesome. We started with like not just Kyle and I we had to fill a lot more time than normal. There was no other performers. We did the first like 12 songs or something like that, and they like it was slow at first. There was just like one dad and his daughter there at first early on the night. And we were just taking requests from them, and so in back-to-back moments I did a Taylor Swift song and a Shania Twain song.
All right.
It was requests.
Did that get the crowd going? Like, was that
they did they liked it. They were laughing and they liked it. But it picked up. Like eventually a bunch of people showed up, and it was a good night.
I will have to make the breadfruit location. It sounds great. The owners sound great, so I will be there at some point. I'll be there for sure.
How about you? What's up?
It's less than a month until my ultra marathon, so I would say that's probably the biggest thing. So I've actually really picked up just the training over the last 2 weeks.
Wow.
So normally people train 12 weeks, 16 weeks, some people even like 5 months for a huge race like this. I am doing a condensed 6-week see what I can do training. And so this week that we're recording, that we're talking right now, this is the heavy one. So there is 2 long runs that's supposed to happen this weekend. So I actually may do one of them first thing Friday morning, 5 a.m. Go out for a long run, like I think 10 miles, 10, 12 miles. But then on Sunday, the plan is to do 20 to 26. So see what I feel like. It really, it's nuts. I don't know. I mean, my legs, my knees feel it for the most part.
And so to be in good shape for the actual event, you have to be ratcheting down by now. You have to be like sort of recovering a bit.
So yeah, like it is part of. So I'm actually following.
There's after this week. Yeah.
After this week, yeah, I'm following a 12-week program, and week 9, this is the one where this is the big build where you've got 2 long runs, and they're actually on the trail. They're saying that you should be running these on the trail-like conditions, similar to the race, because my race is not on the road. And I've never done an ultra marathon, never done one of these long races. It's a 6-hour race. I want to complete it. My friend Joey helped me run 14 over the weekend. And without him, like, I don't know if I would have ran as fast as we did. My challenge is I really need to find if someone, whether it's Joe, someone else who wants to be like my teammate during the event, hand me some nutrition or help fill my water bottle or something to that effect. Kind of like, there's
there. No stations at all like that. It's all like you have to be self-sufficient.
No, they have them, but I think sometimes, if you're used to certain nutrition, you're used to certain, fluids that you take, it's actually helpful to have your own little station. And I got bananas, I got my, my electrolytes, I've got, whatever types of nutrition I take during the run. And just have someone there, like be able to refill a water bottle while you're still doing your loops. And all of a sudden when you're done, they could just hand you a new one. It's kind of cool. Like I've seen this on other ultra races. So we'll see. I'm not expecting someone to be there, but my friend, he's also running a 50K that weekend. So he's doing a different race.
Yeah, and I know like your body shut down on you a little bit at the New York Marathon. Let's say, I think at mile 23 or something like that.
Yeah.
Right? So do you think that is it possible? Like, was that not getting quite enough nutrients in? Do you think that was a big part of it?
I do. I actually think, I thought of, taking nutrition every 40 minutes, 45 minutes. And I've been using some of these gels that I take. I think I probably need to consume just even more, more salt, more, magnesium, so bananas are good. Something else in addition just to the gels every 40, 45 minutes. So that I think was my problem. So I look forward to rectifying that. I've been practicing, during some of the long runs, just nutrition. I honestly, I feel like, I'm this ultra athlete because I'm out on the road and I'm fueling up. I'm still running. And I don't know, I guess mentally it makes me feel good, but there's so a lot more work to do to go 6 hours.
Crazy.
So we'll see.
Great. Yeah. I mean, it's going to be exciting. Cool.
Yeah, so that is coming up in a month. And very last minute, I saw Pitbull and T-Pain in concert on Sunday night.
Wow. Where was that?
So that was in Saratoga. That was at SPAC at the park.
No.
So I waited.
That is crazy.
I thought about going to see them months ago when the concert was announced. But I never bought tickets.
That's crazy. Yeah.
I didn't buy tickets.
Yeah.
The concert was at 8:00. I bought tickets at 7:47. And I felt like it was a good deal. So I bought the tickets. I drove up there, parked, saw most of T-Pain's, set. So I did miss some of the beginning. He's great. I think we talked about him too before. Like he's really good in concerts. It's really
did he
good
do
energy.
Like a bunch of covers? It was mostly. I mean, I imagine it's got to be mostly his own stuff. But did he do like that whole cover thing too? Like singing these like singing type songs.
Not when I saw him. Maybe a song or two at the beginning that I missed. But it was predominantly his songs, his music.
Mode. Okay.
Yeah. Very good. I got the crowd energized. The people next to me said, "Oh, we never saw T-Pain in person in concert. It was actually good. Oh wow, he's good." Pitbull came on, a good hour 45 performance. I say good, great performance. Wow. High energy, 4 or 5 outfit changes. He had several dancers. They also did the outfit changes. A really amazing set and so much power that he actually. They had to go to a backup generator before he came on because things weren't working. So really he's got a very positive demeanor, on there. He was talking a little bit more about his struggles and life and how He's been able to turn it upside down. The one teacher that really helped him out, and all the music, it was every single song that you could think of. That Pitbull's in this song. Pitbull's in this song. It just was. It was crazy. It was great.
Wow.
People, I mean, lots and lots of people, and I actually had a good seat. So it was just me. Joe didn't come. She didn't really want to go. Fine, I'll go on my own. You don't have to, ask me twice. And it was really good seats. It was, probably I don't know, like 30 rows from the stage, which generally,
wow,
is pretty close.
Yeah,
compared to where it was. So awesome. I loved it. It was great. Pitbull and T-Pain. If you get a chance to see him, go check him out.
Definitely.
So great concert. So that was definitely last minute. And yeah, enjoy the weather. Oh, one final thing on the weekend. There was a light dusting of snow at Whiteface Mountain in the Adirondacks. So
okay,
yeah,
okay.
not by me, but it was cold enough where there was a little light snow dusting. And it's still summer.
Yeah.
So go figure that.
Yeah. Wow.
But like Todd said earlier today, we are working and trying to keep to the schedule. I know I was super good at schedules way back years and years ago. And then I've progressively found myself going late and just, I don't know why. It sucks. I want to get better at it. So this is a good chance to do it. And so we're going to talk about TV shows, TV series, you name it. It's things. It's episodes, it's shows of our childhood, our college years, our now years, maybe, shows that you really enjoy, maybe some shows that you don't like. I look forward to hearing about it because Todd and we haven't like rehearsed this at all. So I look forward to learning more about Todd too on this episode in terms of what types of shows, he's really into and watching. And, who knows, as you're listening to this, please comment, down below if there's certain shows that resonate with you, or maybe that didn't make our cut in terms of what we really like and enjoy. So there's no real rhyme or reason on how we want to do this. So Todd, I'm going to throw it out to you. How do you want to go through some of the shows that you've identified?
I could start with one of like the earlier ones that I would say, kind of had an impact from a younger age. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, a couple from like, when I was young.
And I think it's a good way of doing it, Todd. Sorry to like interject here, but I think it's helpful. Like these shows help, round out our childhood or our experience, or these really resonate with us, whether it was like the meaning behind it. It was just fun to watch. It was fun, it was scary, whatever. So it's good that you said that. We're not just talking about shows just willy-nilly. There's a purpose and a reason why we chose these shows.
Yep. So yeah, I would say I started out probably cartoons are pretty important. I mean, that's going to be almost, every kid at some point.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, every kid watched cartoons at some point. I think for me, I'll just pick the one. So, we're trying to condense and, keep it like not too rambling, but I would say like that USA, that Cartoon Express that had the menagerie. I don't know, because I'm slightly older than you. I don't know if this was a lot bigger in my day, and maybe you were sort of might have just missed it or at the tail end. But it was like the Snorks and like
okay. I know, like
Conan show and Inch High, Private Eye, and that.
Keep going. This is great because people are gonna say, "I remember that."
Yeah,
I remember that show.
There was a car type show. I'm actually not the best at remembering all these. I hadn't like thought of this before the show. It just sparked right now. But that USA cartoon. I think Inspector Gadget was part of that too.
Okay, see that one?
Yeah, you've heard of that.
Yeah.
And like Voltron. That was, I think. and Thundercats.
Thundercats.
Yeah, and so many kids loved He-Man. When you went into school, like kindergarten, people would bring in toys and things like that, and so many people had the He-Man stuff. I had like GoBots and some Transformers, more like the GoBots. That was more like the slight knockoff. But yeah, that I would say between those were mainly my jams. Definitely like Voltron, Thundercats, and like all those Cartoon Express shows. I
And kind of
definitely
what
love those.
resonated with you with that? Like, why did you like those versus anything else? You're right about like cartoonish type shows
I
just
would say
being
GI Joe was out there, Transformers were out there, He Man was out there. He Man was a strong, strong player. I just didn't watch as much. I don't know why. It's hard to say. I don't know.
yeah, it's
I mean, the Thundercats and Voltron both had the component of like they come together and form a bigger being.
okay.
You
Yep.
know, they power up together and they join forces and they become a big thing
Yeah. Yep.
that comes together to fight the final boss or whatever, of that episode. I think I probably loved that aspect of it somehow.
Okay.
And then all those, I don't know, those other various ones, they were, partly they were just on at the right time. It was a Saturday morning kind of thing. And that would
Sure.
be like before I'm kind of like having to get ready to go, maybe having breakfast, having to get ready to get up and get going to like my soccer games. It was sort of that kind of like the timing just worked out well.
Yeah.
It was just on at that time. It was on at the right time.
No,
Yeah, I don't know. I'd start with that, and then I'll throw in the mix also just a little bit. When I was slightly older, I think Fraggle Rock on HBO.
incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome show. My brother-in-law, he was telling me about it more recently. Like he looked like he went back with like a critical eye and was realizing that like there's some real like political statements in there and everything. I mean that totally flew over my head. I just
Sure. Yep.
watched it from an entertainment standpoint, but yeah, it was something about that I loved. I'd like to go back and watch it actually and see if it holds up and see
Yeah.
if I pick up the nuances.
Because I heard about that too, and I can't say I've gone back to watch the Fraggle Rock. I mean I remember the owner right of the house,
Yeah.
and Sprocket
The
was the dog.
Gargamel type guy, right? It
Yeah.
was their version of Gargamel. Oh, like the bad guy.
Oh, you're talking within the Fraggle Rock community. I thought like, wasn't the Fraggles underneath a house somewhere, and there was a
Oh
dog
yeah,
named
yeah.
Sprocket.
Okay, got you. Yeah. You're talking
Yeah.
right. You're talking about yeah. I got you. Yep.
So I do remember that. Like that was actually really fun to watch. And I think what's interesting with the shows that you mentioned, and there were shows that I wrote down too, like childhood. I feel like a lot of it is about banding together to form either community to go after the bad guy, if you will, something like that. And obviously cartoons are kind of geared towards more like positive or instilling like good behaviors and whatnot in there. But Fraggle Rock, was definitely a show that I watched. I enjoyed as a like young child. I
Yeah.
wrote DuckTales, and Chipmunks,
Yeah.
Alvin, Simon, Theodore. I mean,
Yep.
I liked them so much. I had pajamas and of like the different Alvin, Theodore, and Simon and the Chipmunks. So that was a good one.
I think everybody loves DuckTales. I mean, the song and
Yeah.
just Scrooge McDuck and just everything about it was great.
It's really awesome. Another one that just so happens like it really stands out in my mind, Lamb Chop's Play Along.
Okay. Yeah, that's one. I think that was a little. I don't know if it was late for me or I just like it just wasn't one that I picked up on a lot. I know about it, but yeah, that wasn't like in my wheelhouse.
No, and it's come full circle now because Duck has 13 different lamb chops in the house. They're all different sizes. It's it's really fun, but yeah, just a fun episode. And this was probably like right outside of kindergarten, I think, or something where we'd come home. We had a half day of school. You watch Lamb Chops play
Yeah,
out.
see, that's where I'm just a little bit older than you. So I'm like, whatever, if you call that a generation or a half generation, where it's like I was too old for that, maybe when that was really popping off.
Yeah. So that one, the Inspector Gadget, I love Go-Go Copter Gadget. Go-Go everything. Like he just could do anything he wanted to.
Yep.
And always destroyed Dr. Claus.
Yep.
Thomas the Train. That's my other like really childhood one.
Oh wow.
I really enjoyed it. I know that was probably like really young, but I was into, and that's when I at a young age, like into things with numbers. And all the trains had numbers on them. Thomas was number 1. Then you had Percy. Gordon was number 4. He always had this like angry face. Then you had Toby, who was the coal rail car. That was definitely a show that kind of shaped me. Like, I enjoyed it. And just, again, the fact that all the trains had numbers on them, I was instantly gravitating to that sort of show.
Okay.
On there.
Yep. That one, I know all about it. Big with my nephew and everything. We would get him Thomas the Train, toys, things like that.
Yep.
But yeah, that one wasn't big for me. I think I was a little too old again on that one. I just slightly missed it. Yeah.
And I will say, so like you mentioned G.I. Joe and maybe like some of the other ones. Wasn't even Batman. Like, I'll be honest, like that.
Oh
was
yeah, Batman.
Show,
yeah,
like
yeah.
So for me, my family, like, they raised us, I say very, very well, very good. Kind of maybe protected us a little too much from like bad things. So there were certain shows that, in their opinion, was too much either violence or kind of went in a different direction. And I would say like G.I. Joe, even Batman or Spider-Man. I mean, my parents, they were not into comics, either as well, but just that was not part of,
and even like Transformers,
childhood.
Let's say, even
that was okay. That was
okay,
but not great. Like, it was okay.
Yeah.
So I definitely, Transformers, I had a few Transformers growing up, but it was more the other shows I mentioned was what I got into.
Yeah.
And then, like you said, then we grew up, right? Then we were teenagers.
Yeah.
So you have a few shows there.
Yeah. So I would say one that definitely sticks, like in the transitional period. And actually, I think it probably started from when I was younger, because I think this goes way back. Cosby Show. That was that was pretty big in my family. That was one that we definitely watched together as a family. I think that was one of the natures of it. It had that kind of appeal. Like, it was extremely family friendly. I think it was that number one show for 5-6 years in a row, something like that, during its run. I mean, it's sad thinking back now, right? Looking at it in retrospect of just what a tyrant that was on there. But just for what we all knew and in the information we had at the time, and just what that show represented, it was actually really great, I would say.
It's a good show, like a family wholesome type of show. Yeah. And I like what you said, where you actually, as a family, were watching it together.
Yeah, that's probably one of the top ones I can think of like that. Even we'd watch some football together and things like that. That was, more let's say my dad and I, but my mom would join some of that. But yeah, that was one of the ones that I can think, I would say almost the most, like, we watched as a family. I think that, and actually I think Fraggle Rock too, funny enough. Yeah. And my bedtime would be like right after Fraggle Rock was done.
Yeah.
but yeah, Cosby Show. Yeah. How about you? You have one like that that fills that kind of role?
So for me, the family ones, I think it's a great point, because I actually was thinking about, what do families watch now together? Do they watch TV together, or shows, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more stuff out there on YouTube, on other platforms. For me, it was the TGIF. It was that Family Matters, Step by Step, Full House, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. We did watch, for the most part, that as a family. It was always like Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Like, that's what you watched. For my personal opinion, Family Matters was my favorite out of those shows. I loved it. I love Carl Winslow. I love Urkel. The whole premise behind it, having this annoying neighbor that would always come over and just somehow screw up your life. But somehow, like, also, you could see him trying to just be a very kind individual. Like, he loved Laura Winslow, but he loved just being part of that family and just considered them his second family. It just, I think, had a lot of good story behind it, and when you got to the sad moments, or it got to the moments that were really impactful, I think, to me, that's what really resonates even to this day. Like, it actually was very fun for those moments.
Nice. So, yeah, I would say I saw a decent amount of it, but it was almost, I guess for me, it's just Cosby
late,
Show.
Right?
Cosby Show had filled that exact same space, I think, just about almost exact. I mean, Family Matters a little more on the silly side, right? It's a little more like laugh.
Okay. Yep.
Cosby was a little more dramatic, I guess, but also funny. But yeah, so very similar. That's a similar.
Now, did you have shows before getting to college and whatnot that you watched more so on your own, right? It wasn't the family shows. Did you
Yeah,
have a few?
or with maybe a couple friends, things like
Yeah.
that. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Seinfeld's in there.
Okay.
I watch a good amount of Seinfeld over time.
I know people are gonna like that comment if you watch the Seinfeld.
Not a super addict, but pretty good amount. And then in college, jumping ahead a little bit, but yeah, I'll jump back. But my buddy Denny, who went to college with one of my roommates, he was really into Seinfeld, and so it would just be on all the time. So like, we'd be having our dinner, Stromboli or whatever from the dining hall, and like watching something like Seinfeld, before we started play Mario Kart or something.
But, it's perfect. I love it. I love it.
So that was in there. I watched a little bit of Friends, but it was more like when you're with other friends who were watching it, and then you're just kind of like, you're in the room with them, so you're watching. I wouldn't like go way out of my way to watch that myself.
Okay.
So yeah, how about you? Like this type.
So I mean, there were some sports like my friends and I. We'd either watch WWF at the time, or sports and football. From a show perspective, one that really like, again, teenager years, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I mean, I watched it for Buffy. I watched it for Buffy. I think
Sarah Michelle Gellar.
Yeah, it was intriguing to me. I didn't really like too many scary type shows. Like, Are You Afraid of the Dark? I remember watching some of that, but that was even too much for me because I had a nightlight. So I was like, nah, I'm not doing this right now. I don't want to die. I'm going to watch something that's a little more different. But Buffy, had some things where, they were killing off vampires and whatnot. But just following her along, I was like, okay, this is a cool journey.
They would always keep it light too. I don't think it ever got like truly scary, right? It stayed in a sort of pretty light area.
Yeah, for the most part. And they had a few episodes that would like continue on to the next week, and you had to wait. And I would 100% never see what's coming up next week. I don't want to know. I want to be surprised. I don't like seeing those highlights at the end of the show for the next episode. Okay. So Buffy was there, and then interestingly enough, so my sister and I would watch it. So I have a sister; she's a year and a half younger than me. So we would kind of watch the same shows if we could. So Buffy, we watched a little bit of Angel, but not really into that. Not really into Dawson's Creek. A weird show that my sister and I got into. I say weird because it's probably not top 200 in anybody's mind. Sequest DSV.
Wow.
Like, what the heck?
What is the DSV part?
So deep sea vehicle. So Sequest DSV was about life on a submarine with a dolphin, and Roy Scheider was in it as well. And it just was, Michelle, my sister was into this one kid that was on the submarine. I was really into it from it was a cool show. They were solving problems while on a submarine. And I got to a point where I was super excited about it that I drew my own version of Sequest DSV on this huge graph paper, and like planned it out to a T that this was exact replica of what the Sequest DSV submarine looked like.
Wow. I mean, that's a pretty good one. Okay, so this is funny too, because you triggered two things during that last little bit you were going. So the first thing you triggered, well, I'll go to this so I don't forget it, but Airwolf?
I do not know.
That might be before your time. Okay. It was in the like vicinity of, let's say, the A-Team, which also is another one I watched a bit. It was sort of the less popular, but awesome too. It was about like an attack chopper. So if you can picture like the A-Team, but like if they were focused around like an Apache helicopter that fired missiles and stuff. So that was just what the show was about. It was about just doing awesome stuff in a helicopter that would fly with bad guys that are rolling in, and the chopper comes flying over the mountain, and all of a sudden it's up and it's firing missiles and just smashing everybody. I don't remember enough about the actual stories and things. I think it probably was pretty terrible. I don't know, but I mean, that's what I remember about it. But yeah, that you also triggered WWF. I should mention that because that was a big part of my earlier childhood. So 2 phases of it. The Hulk Hogan phase.
Okay.
Hulk Hogan phase. I was young then. Me and like other kids on my neighborhood, the Del Preets down the street, they were big. I would always go down there, and many mornings. Was it like Sunday morning they were on?
They had I felt like depending on what channels, right? Like USA Network or TNT or whatever it was on.
Yeah, I think it was something like that. It was like a weekend, like early, and I think I'll be there a lot. And we'd be like playing some board games like Fireball Island or something, but also we'd be watching WrestleMania, wrestling, and it'd be Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Hacksaw, Jim Duggan, the Animals, those guys, that era.
And that there was a storyline. I think, I mean, they certainly, it still goes on today. People love wrestling, and I think, watching that, it definitely wasn't something that my dad or I got, watched together. It was definitely a friend of mine would watch it, like Steve and I would watch it, or I would watch it on my own wrestling, and just, it was good. It definitely was something that captured my eye as far as show or series to watch. I will say one thing that I did and do miss watching with my dad: ESPN primetime. So Chris
Berman, yeah, that was great. Yeah, that was. It was.
Good. We made it every Sunday night. We watched it, and it was delightful.
That might have been peak. That had to be peak ESPN. I think that was as good as ESPN ever got.
I bring it up again because Monday Night Football, our Niners won, so go Niners.
Yeah.
Chris Berman did a quick 3-minute summary of the Sunday football games, and he did the same sort of commentary, and it just it's great. I'm so happy he's still doing that.
He all the nicknames for everybody, and they got away from nicknames, and the back stuff.
Yeah, you have to check it out. It's great.
Oh yeah, he was so good. Yeah, that's peak ESPN.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, and just real quick. So I had one more huge era of WWF, which was college. We just funnily got back into it just out of nowhere. Me and the buddies, like that was just one of the things we Sunday, what is that? Monday Night Raw and Sunday night thing too, right? And I remember we were watching one single thing, and it was like Undertaker and who was the mailman type guy? He was a big boss man. Is that his name?
There's a big boss man.
Was he a mailman?
Like in some
I think he might, like his outfit might have been a mailman. Whoever that guy was, I think maybe it was Big Boss and maybe not. Maybe it's another guy. But we just happened to tune in on this one. I think it was a Monday Night Raw, and it was like him battling with Undertaker, and they were just doing back and forth antics, and it was like punking each other. And all we saw was like, let's say it's Big Boss Man goes to a cemetery, pulls up to a grave, digs up like a casket out of the ground, and is like chains it up, and he's driving around this area, dragging a casket behind. And it was supposedly like the story was, it was like Undertaker's great grandma or something like that. I mean, for sure it wasn't that, but that was the storyline they had, and we were just instantly hooked. I mean, we were into like just ridiculous, hilarious stuff. It was like the best thing to just sit there, have your dinner, have a couple beers, and watch this like just total ridiculous. It filled that role perfectly. So, and that it exactly almost aligned with The Rock. The Rock's rise.
Absolutely.
So he was Stone Cold into later years Stone Cold. We kind of missed the early years. I wasn't watching really at all then. Earlier Stone Cold. It was like later years Stone Cold, right into The Rock sort of really rising.
Triple H.
Mankind, Triple H.
Mankind.
No. So that era was huge for us.
No, intense. And so I think kind of, to piggyback off that, in college, there was one show that we watched, together as friends all the time, and that was the OC. So that was our show. I know there was like One Tree Hill. I didn't get into that. I will admit the OC was like the show to watch. Laguna Beach, that sort of, California vibe. And I forgot. I didn't watch the first season, which my friends will argue and say it's the best season. But 2 through 4, we watched every episode religiously. That and what the heck was the show? Where Survivor. So we got really into Survivor when it first came out. Yeah. And so into it where we had our own like Survivor. And we would do challenges and quests, and we'd vote people off the island. So that's
hilarious.
Yeah, so that was fun. So that was honestly college. There might have been another show or two, but by far the OC and Survivor were our
those
two shows
types
that
I feel like there's a whole category of those like that I just never got into. It just wasn't my thing. I don't know. I put it in like the Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, OC, Dawson's Creek.
Yeah.
What's that one? The 10 of Us or something, or just the 8 of Us, or something like that.
I know the 21 Jump Street people watched. I didn't.
I put that in a different category. But all right. It was all these like, it was supposed to be like the popular high school kids type shows.
Yes.
Like, I just wasn't a popular type kid at all. I wasn't interested in those things. I was just busy doing my sports and stuff. I just like passed on that whole genre.
Absolutely. And I know like now, so I think we've got 3 cool buckets for like child, teenager, college. I just have after college. Like just like
well, you know what I was
10, 15 years.
Well, are we running out of time? Do you think should we have another whole one dedicated to like just modern stuff? Because I feel like that's even a bigger category than all the ones we covered. Do you think we should do a part 2 for that, or do you think we can?
I mean, I've got a lot of shows to talk about. Like if
in
we
the
do
modern
it,
era, right?
I was just gonna hit on them and like a quick brief, but
a quick a quick dive. Okay, yeah, all right, let's try it then.
So for me, and this is in no like timeline order. I've just got this as after college, and I think now with technology too, you're able to watch reruns or watch shows that came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, I think you're right. That when it happened in life like matters less kind of now too. Yeah.
Or is this all adults? Yeah. So I'm gonna, because I've got stars next to 3 of them. I'm gonna just list. There's 12, and I wanted to see if like them really quick. I'm not gonna summarize a lot of it, but Modern Family.
Oh, okay. Absolutely, I was like pretty religious. Let's say like for the first year. I kind of dropped off, but great for. Yeah,
I enjoyed that positive message at the end of each episode is actually it really resonates with me. Superstore. So that show, it was on like I think ABC or NBC
America
for a while.
Ferrara.
She was. She was in it. It's just basically like Walmart. It's Cloud9 is what they call it, but it's really like Walmart and what it's like working at Walmart. I
never really watched that one really at all, so I don't have an opinion on it. Okay.
I did not do it. I think I maybe watched some of it live, but it was actually more reruns or watch it on Hulu or something. So did that Upload, which was on. Do you know that? Or did you hear that one?
Yeah, that's where like everybody's dead. They're in the afterlife, and they've uploaded like their essence into this virtual world.
Yes,
I watched a few episodes. I don't think I even watched like a full first season. But I saw like 3-4 episodes.
Yeah, so that one was kind of interesting, and I say that too because even Joe and I watched that together. Then another one, Kim's Convenience. It's a show based out of Toronto. It's a Korean family, and they run a convenience store, and they kind of follow each family members' lives. And I just feel like it's a very wholesome show, kind of like Family Matters, step by step. Really, just good, but funny. More on the funny side.
Okay.
Ted Lasso. I mean,
Oh yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, that's
no brainer.
hilarious.
That's
Yeah,
one of
that
my
is
star
hilarious. Yeah,
shows.
that's great. Okay, yep. Agree there.
Schitt's Creek.
I tried one episode and maybe I didn't give it enough chance, but it didn't reel me in by the end of one episode, and I never gave it another chance. So okay, but
No,
it's good.
and that's fine. Like, yeah, like I actually liked it. I never watched it when it was actually out. This was more on Hulu or whatever Netflix it was on. I don't know what it on, but it was very good. Like
Okay,
I liked it more than I thought I would.
okay.
And then just a couple other fun ones because I want you to share yours too. I want to hear them. Lucifer, which is on
Oh
Netflix,
yeah,
like a
okay. Aware of it. I never watched it. It was good.
demon. Yeah, it was good. It got to like season 4 or 5 was a little bit more foo-foo-y, but it was a good premise. It was kind of like Buffy the Vampire Slayer, but 20 years later is what
Mm.
I kind of felt like.
Mm.
In the Dark, which is on Netflix, about this blind woman and following her like story navigating life, but she always ends up like causing more of an issue or disturbance or people getting killed. Really interesting. In the Dark, and
My mom told me about that one. She said it's good. I haven't watched it yet, but yeah, I've heard good things.
Yeah. Did I mention The Morning Show? So that was another one on Apple with Jennifer Aniston. Really good show. I say that's a very good show.
Okay.
Steve Carell's in it. Just about working at a news station in a morning show, and what's it like being part of this behemoth when it comes to like ABC or NBC.
Okay.
And how behind the scenes there's a lot of messed up stuff going on.
Okay. So probably a bit like oh my God, what's that Tina Fey show about the studio in New York City?
Okay, 30 Rock.
30 Rock, yeah.
I would say okay, that's maybe? Actually that's a very good like similar to that, but obviously I think 30 Rock's a little more family friendly. This is like got a lot of F-bombs and just
okay.
Yeah, it's intense.
Okay.
And the other two I have just Broadchurch, which is on Netflix. It's a UK, it's a British based like show just about
detectives.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I know about it. Yeah. Okay.
No, and last week, Gogglebox. I'm just gonna say that do you know of it?
No.
It's a show that I think they have in like the UK or Australia, so you can see that coming by Living with Joe, who's British. But that's basically just watching people watch TV and them like commentating and just it's something fun and silly. It's more like a light, just watch people watch TV. That's what it's all about.
Okay, yeah, that one I've never heard of. Okay.
I know there's a lot, and you're right. We probably could do like a whole nother episode of this, but those were the main shows that I highlighted in terms of watching. What about you? What?
Yeah, mine's very different. I feel like what's happened in the modern era for me is I very much converted over to like the streaming platforms.
Yes.
So by far my stuff is going to be like Netflix, Amazon, Disney stuff. So I would say I'll start off with like the the fairy tale type stuff. Game of Thrones and Vikings. I'll put both. I'll bundle those together. It's probably one of the most cliche things you could say, Game of Thrones, but it is ridiculously good. It's a fantastic show. So broad, the character creation, the character depth, the number of storylines that are going on. You have to pay a lot of attention, and you can watch it many times. And I've seen it twice now, and it was like equally good the second time watching it through. The last season, everyone knows, is essentially trash. The first 4 episodes or so actually I think are still, or maybe 3 are still really good. And then they clearly were just rushing to get to the end. I never, I don't like to crap on shows for their last seasons because the writers leave. It makes sense. Practical real world things kick in. Those great writers, they get poached. They're going on other shows. All the people who were like created the essence of the thing are not there. And then also they have to like wrap it up. They have to, man, we didn't know it was ending this year. We had 3 more years worth of storylines, especially Game of Thrones, like always moved very slowly. but it, you would eventually have these major payoffs. It's suddenly just like condensed and rushed, and whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm not holding that against him. It's still ridiculously good over all the years.
So that sounds like one of your favorites in terms
That's
of the
way
last,
up there.
it's
way up there. And Vikings is way up there. Vikings really good. Amazon, it's awesome.
Okay, and I have Amazon.
Yeah, it's a lot like Game of Thrones. It's very interesting because it's pretty real. It's pretty historical. It's pretty historically accurate. It starts small. It starts like in the just little village antics that are happening. In this smaller village in I think modern day Norway, and then but it expands and expands. Suddenly they're sailing across the sea and they're raiding like the English countryside. Next thing you know, they're crossing continents. They're making it all the way over to Russia. They make it over to Iceland. And it just expands. Like they get bigger and bigger. They get more prominent. Their mythology grows and grows. It's just, and the characters on that are some of the best I've ever seen.
So I may have to check out an episode.
Unbelievably good, even like just from the first moments. First moments of the first episode, I was like hooked within 5 minutes. So that one's really good. Oh my god, what is that? Not Better Call Saul, but the Breaking Bad.
Okay,
Breaking Bad.
HBO, right?
I think
it doesn't matter. Like
I think it was an HBO. Yeah, whatever. I should know that. It. Someone's gonna kill me for not knowing that, but I should know. Yeah, maybe HBO. Really, really good show though. That was it starts slow. It's weird. If you just watch the first 2 episodes or something, you'd be like, "What's everybody talking about?" But then all of a sudden you get to learn the characters, and then let's say by the time you hit season 2, it's got like the best villains you'll ever see in your life. Just realistic people, and the story it gets better and better and better and better as it goes. It just never
Breaking Bad.
And
you're not they say you're not the only one. I know several people who really like it.
That good. Yeah, it just gets crazier and crazier. I mean, your high school teacher who suddenly becomes like he gets more and more prominent in the drug world, and it's really crazy.
I've not seen it.
That and I would say what would I have next? I had Mandalorian. I think great from Disney. That's the
I know I don't even want you explain it. I actually
it's just a recent Star Wars world, Star Wars universe show set way more in the past, way in ancient times, way predating all the Star Wars series. I thought it brought back the feel of like original Star Wars and like Empire Strikes Back. Like it feels a lot closer to that than the more modern movies felt to me. I thought it was better done than the more modern movies.
Interesting. And I'll have to tell Joe about it because I know she likes Star Wars. I'll be honest, that's not on my radar.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
No, I actually think this is great. So keep going. Those I'd love to hear some more.
Those I love. Right. Let's see. Okay. So I would go. Okay. Whoa.
I got it. Microphone fell. So we're there. We're there. We're still here. Everything's good.
Okay. I'll throw it. Oh, you know what? I'll cross over. Uh-oh.
Okay.
Okay, there we go.
I can't touch anything anymore.
Okay, he's back. Don't knock the your video offline. Okay.
I know, and now it's saying All right, here we go.
That's all right. We're good. We're back. Okay, so I'll cross over into like the guilty pleasures category. That neck of the woods now. So I would say my first one there would be Entourage.
Okay, I know of it. I have not watched. Maybe
just
an episode.
Fun show. But... It was like soap opera for dudes. It was just all about agent in Hollywood, and this guy. I think it's roughly based on Mark Wahlberg's life, and it just shows like him bringing all his buddies along with him to Hollywood, and they just. And the main guy becomes a movie star. He becomes like the biggest movie star in Hollywood.
Okay. Yeah.
And it's all his life and with his agent and just the guys just doing dude stuff, just being famous, showing up at things, like doing dude stuff, like getting jet skis, renting Aston Martins, driving around town, just all that stuff, picking up chicks. It's just a total dude show. I expect very few girls to like it.
But I know people watch it. So no,
that was fun.
Sense.
That also was like the worst fall apart of a final season that I've ever seen. Okay. I've never seen a worse final season of any show. That ranks number one for me. I think every single writer left by the time the last season came around.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah. All right.
And it was like, you know what it was? It was like all the characters you knew, they suddenly were doing stuff that they would never, ever, ever do. You know what I mean? You spend all those years.
Really kind of, far-fetched from what they were.
Them,
like
their personality. And suddenly was all these violations of what their true personality was. So that, it was horrible. It was like a betrayal. I mean, I'm not like how Star Wars people are, where like I felt truly betrayed, but I was into it. It was fun.
Absolutely.
It was an unbelievable downfall. And the last one I'll mention is my other guilty pleasure, I would say, as a whole category, is the like dumb hot people dating shows.
You can say, okay.
That are out on
absolutely
on Netflix and all. So just perfect match, too hot to handle.
Like
the new generation. I feel like it's one step beyond like Bachelor, Bachelorette. They're more, a little more sensational. They're more fun and funny to me than those are like Bachelor, whatever is more serious to me. The more silly, ridiculous ones.
Got it. Okay.
That genre of those shows, I do like quite a bit of those. I can get into those.
No, I mean, I know there's a few where you've got like, let's say older women and they're looking at dating younger men, but then also their dads come in and now it's like, oh wow, he's hot. Like I see.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh, I don't think I've seen that one. This is more just like, it's always like 20 to 30-year-olds and they're on a tropical island.
Of course.
In a super high-end house and just their antics of that.
No, listen, the guilty pleasures, it happens. Like, again, I think some of our shows, like I'd say, what I mentioned before too, silly, just you get wrapped up in it and it's like fun. Like you can't get enough. You need to watch the next one. So,
they'll rope me into binges because you're just like, oh, Love is Blind too. I mean, even more realistic, like the more, more commonly watched stuff. Love is Blind, Love on the Spectrum. That's amazing.
That's a good show.
A heartwarming show. I was worried when I first saw it pop up. I'm like, is this going to be like ridiculous exploitation stuff?
Yeah.
And it's not at all.
It's a very good show.
Made autistic people look better.
I think it's a great show.
Like
it's absolutely
heartwarming people I've ever seen. So
it's a very good show. I second that one. So that's at least one we've seen together.
Okay, But in that recent era, like I can get sucked into those things, those silly like dating shows.
No, it's good. And you know what? The people listening or watching us can also do the same. I'm sure there are episodes or shows where you're watching 3-4 hours, eating some popcorn, whatever. You're on the couch. Let us know which ones those are, so we can take a look.
Like that,
Yep.
I've binged. I binged like almost an entire Too Hot to Handle season. I don't know.
No, it's funny. Interestingly enough, fun fact: my Poker Stars handle was Too Hard to Handle. Was with the number 2 instead of the word
and that goes like way back moniker. In time.
Way back in time, yep.
Oh,
back
wow,
in my
predated. Okay.
Gambling days, way back then. No, it was just fun. I played Poker Stars online because that was the closest to a casino you could get back in the day. So that was fun. With that being said, I mean, we could go on probably for a long time. Who knows? Maybe we'll do another episode where we talk more about shows or like the most meaningful shows in our lives.
Yeah,
there's a lot. Why don't we talk about some high fives?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, love it.
Get into that.
Yep.
And I know, you said you've got a good one this week. So why don't you go first?
Yeah, I think there's extremely little chance you have the same one. So yeah, it is a
Okay.
guy this time.
Okay.
So there's a guy I found on social media who I wouldn't quite say man crush. I don't think that's quite the right word, but it's just like I love his persona, his energy. So it's this guy named Jeremiah Miller. There's a small chance you've heard of him.
Okay.
He hasn't been around that long. I don't think he's been doing it big that long. I think he really kind of popped with like some viral type videos, just started up maybe like 5 months ago or 6 months ago. So what this guy, his whole thing is he's got a battery powered speaker. So imagine like the speakers that I have at my shows, the PA speakers.
Yeah. Yep.
Slightly smaller version of that, but pretty big speakers.
And they're battery powered.
Yep. And he'll be on like one of those like skateboards that's electric powered. And also with a mic.
Yep.
And he holds the speaker up and he just shows up to public places and he sings a song
while he's skating around.
Yes.
Right on the board. Okay.
And stuff and a track playing in the background. So he just shows up downtown Dallas, and he's got a Bruno Mars song, karaoke track playing, and he's blasting out. He has a very good singing voice,
so that helps.
I'm in this industry. He's better singer than I am. He's a great singer. He can hit high notes, all this stuff. And people just like, you see it, like he goes through and he puts little captions go up. He does a good job filming it. He's clearly has like a cameraman who. I don't know how the cameraman must also be on a skateboard. I was very curious about that.
Sure, yeah.
So very talented cameraman who's also following around. So, it keeps him in frame like this. And you see people passing by and everything. And at first, a lot of times, like, people are like, oh, get out of here. What do you're ruining our, whatever, like one time it was like they were having a yoga session or something like that. And he was skating around that and singing. But then eventually he wins them over and you'll see the captions get better. He's like, I'll get her at some point. They see like, he's like, yep, look, I'm reeling her in. And he just brings joy. He's gotten kicked out of a lot of places. He actually did it at like a Cincinnati Reds game too.
Okay.
And he literally got like onto the broadcast.
I will take a look at this.
And they had to walk him out. Like he gets walked out of a lot of places, but not in like an aggressive manner. It's not like they're tackling him. They're just like, okay, dude, like, these people, it's gonna be, it just is too much of a public disturbance. We just can't quite allow this. But he gets his song or two in. And the last one I saw of him, he was on a wave runner. There was another kid.
Wow, so now he's in the water.
And they showed up at one of those like boat parties where you see all the, the high school college kids anchored up or whatever. And they're swimming around and they're jumping off the boats and stuff. The last one I saw, he was going around to that with his same speaker on a wave runner.
I'll take a look. So he's bringing just positivity. He's just bringing joy.
Huge positivity. Yeah. I mean, I'd never seen anybody quite do this before. So Jeremiah Miller on social media. Let me even get it. I'll spell it out just for fun for anybody who wants to make sure they get the right one. 1 second. Let me just spell it out. So I have him like on TikTok and like it's just Jeremiah Miller. Okay, I'm looking at Instagram right now. So JeremiahMiller.
Okay.
And I think also on TikTok, but I'm looking directly on Instagram right now.
Yeah,
he's awesome. His videos are so fun.
I wrote his name down, so I'm gonna go follow that.
So that's
awesome. I love it. We do not have the same high five.
What do you got?
So I am going with Dakota Lindworm. So actually, still somewhat Olympic themed. She is. She was our marathon runner. So the U.S. had 3 marathon runners. She was one of them, and actually finished 12th in the Olympics in the marathon. But she was struggling at mile 22-ish. So similar to me, like I want to get this done. Clearly much faster than me, world-class athlete. But there was a young boy that was running alongside her for a good 400, 500 meters. And she actually said that really helped her finish the marathon. Like, he inspired her to finish it. And she sought out people to try and help find out who this young boy is. And it's an 11-year-old, actually from New York. And so after finding out who he was, had sent him this awesome care package, and like with a thank you note for helping her really finish the marathon in the time and the way that she did. He was really inspiring. She sent him her bib from Paris. She sent him some cleats, shoes, autograph material. And I just think that's very, just very heartwarming. So someone, as an Olympian, I think being someone who's excited, we both really like, especially track and field, but you get into these athletes and really try and follow them, and they're inspiring, and you follow them along. To have her like take the time to truly figure out who this person was and send a nice little care package, I think was really, really special. So, shout out to her. Yeah, shout out to Dakota.
I love that. I mean, I totally relate to that in various ways. I mean, first of all, being at your marathon, so the
incredible
relation. Yeah, like, I mean, I know it energized you. I could feel the energy when I was already not 2 blocks away from the marathon. I already felt it. So, and you even mentioned how, like, when you were going over the bridge, the people weren't there, and it was a different thing.
Yes,
as you were going down the streets, and there's thousands of people just cheering you on and calling you. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, that was amazing energy.
Yeah, that was incredible. So yeah, shout out to her. I think good job. Well done. And Jeremiah, we're gonna have to go check him out and
check it out.
See the chaos he brings.
Follow. He's a good follow. He's one that I like. Wait for the next video to come out now. It's really good.
All right, we'll have to check that out. And with that, we have wrapped up our shortest episode in quite some time. So we're getting, not that we're getting better, we're always getting better, but we're going to try and keep these, a little more 45 minutes, an hour, if you will. Yeah. So, but we've had fun talking about different TV shows and series that have shaped our lives and hopefully have shaped yours. So if we haven't mentioned an episode or show that you really like, let us know in the comments. Tell us. We'd love to hear what shows.
What have you binged? Are you that one person who loved the last season of Game of Thrones? Tell us why. Are you somehow that negative one person? I can't imagine there's anybody who loved the last season of Entourage. But if you are one of those, like 3 to 4 people in the entire world, let us know.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think too, what's been really fun, again, Todd and I had no idea like what each of us were watching here. We have different tastes, and that's, again, what makes the world go around. I think there were definitely some different genres of shows and that Todd watched, that I watched, that you watch. And that's what makes the human race just really, really fun and getting to know people better. So honestly, it's been a huge, amazing episode. Huge. No, it's been great. So I've had a fun time. Hopefully you've had a fun time too, Todd. And,
this is a good one. Yeah.
Hopefully,
I mean, it was good, like learning about the other person episodes. So
yeah. And hopefully, you all learning, you all listening and watching out there too. We hope you've enjoyed it. Thanks again so much for just listening to us, watching us, subscribing, and leaving us some comments. Feel free, send it, share it with your friends, like, comment, subscribe. I'll get better at this outro thing. I mean, who knows? We're only a couple episodes in. It's our first season. No, this has been great. So for Todd and myself, thanks so much again for tuning in. Have a wonderful rest of your week. Go out, crush it. Give someone a high five this week that you really think has gone above and beyond or brought a smile to your face. And we'll catch you on the next episode.
And go run 27 miles on Sunday so you can you have some dibs over Chris.
Yes, please do that because I will not run 27. So I would love to hear about it.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Right.
Peace out, everybody.